videos like this tend to make it all the way on the bottom of the YouTube and Google algorithm just because of the nature of the content. I appreciate it when you guys share these videos, you comment, you dialogue. It boosts the algorithm a lot. Thank you, everyone, for your support. So in today's video, I want to talk about my experiences taking the Alert Level 1 Train the Trainer course that was offered by Texas State University. In particular, this course it comes from a school that's part of the Texas State University system, and this school is called the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center, also known as ALERT. I have been trying to take this class for 2 years. This class has only been held most of the time in Texas. I've been trying to collect funds to go to Texas, but every time I need to go somewhere and fly, it's going to be easy $3,000, including the course. I was really blessed, guys. You know, I am religious, and I believe that I was directed to this course. Like this course, there was an extra seat just for me. So what ended up happening was there's only 14 seats, 15 seats available, 14 were taken. And then when I reached out to Marietta Police Department, who was hosting the course in California, they said, okay, we'll let you in, but that's it. That's the last student that we will accept. I was very blessed because I was one of 15 students in the state of California that was able to take this awesome course. A course like this can easily, Train the Trainer, which is an instructor level course for CQB, can easily cost between $1,500 to $2,000, maybe even $4,000. And I got this course for free. And it was funded through an $11 million grant that was allotted to ALERT. ALERT has been in existence since 2002. It's a university, it's a school that is basically, that was forged by our modern day warriors. You have guys coming out of the military special forces. You have members of SWAT, full-time SWAT teams that ended up developing the curriculum in conjunction with professors, again, who have SWAT level experiences, who went the education route. They got their PhD, and now they're able to validate some of the CQB techniques that were commonly used out there. You have a university that uses empirical studies to validate certain CQB techniques. So I'm really, really impressed by this school. Let's talk about first requirements, because I know a lot of you guys are excited. Like, what does it take to get into this class? So you have to have a law enforcement background. You need to actively be a peace officer, a law enforcement officer. Second, you can get in if you're military, but that's dependent on the type of background. I mean, if you're, let's just say, special forces or military police, or maybe you're an instructor in the military, most likely you're going to get into this course. But I don't set the requirements, but the most likely. You have to have tactical experience, and that includes firearm instructor experience as well. Just a little bit of background on the students that went to the course. And there's a security route. I'll get to the private security route in a minute. But just to show you the background of the students that were there, candidates, we had FBI HRT. HRT stands for Hostage Response Team. They are the elite of the elite, guys. They train with the Rangers, Army Rangers. They train with Delta, also known as CAG. And they train with the SEALs. These guys are elite. And the guys that are in the class, one of the guys was from the Washington, D.C. area. That's his full-time job. About 75% are SWAT operators for pretty large police departments. And then you have like maybe your 25% who are firearm instructors. And I want to say there's about 4 FBI agents in the class. And the background was phenomenal. They went through the class and they asked, have you ever been in an active shooter situation? And I was shocked. There was about 20% of the class that said, yes, I responded to like this event. I responded to that event. I served the search warrant. I'm actually, let me stop there, because there is some good information that was passed. You know, you have your list of active attack incidents that will forever be known in the history books. And you have FBI agents, and you have SWAT operators. Some of them were, I mean, most SWAT operators are part-time, but you have those guys that are patrol officers and SWAT operators that responded to one of these hundreds of events that happened over the last 20 years. So you have a lot of experience in the classroom. If you think that you're going to just take this class and you've taken no tactical course, you're going to fail. You will definitely fail. Backtracking for a minute, how do you get in on the security route? So first off, from what I'm told, there's only 2 instructors that can certify level 1 instructors. And that's what I am right now. I'm a level 1 train the trainer instructor. There's only 2, and that's Patrick and that's Troy. They are the only 2 from Alert, from what my understanding is, that can certify someone to be a train the trainer. Now, Alert does contract with, there's like 5 or 7 private entities, and I'll leave, just give me some time in the description box below, I'll leave links. They contract with private vendors, and those private vendors can offer you these train the trainer courses. They're not going to be taught by Patrick or Troy. They're going to be taught by these third-party vendors, but that's another route. Last week, I spent like 30 minutes going through the website, and there is no active courses right now. You can't sign up for any train the trainer courses through any of these websites. You're going to have to make some phone calls. I think maybe the website needs to be updated, but right now there's nobody out there. So if you go to a training entity and they're training you for Alert level 1 instructor certification, which is a 40-hour course, it might not even be a legitimate class. It may not be a course that's sponsored by Alert. Okay, costs. How much does this cost? Guys, I didn't pay anything. The $11 million grant paid for this class. Out of my own pocket, I did pay for my lodging. Let's talk about, is this difficult or not, this course? So first off, I want to give a special shout out to one of my mentors, Randy Nunez from Global Veterans. Over the past 2 years, this guy has spent numerous hours, like all of his time, developing me as an individual to have that tactical mindset, have that tactical ability. He always comes out to where I'm at, you know, a 4-hour round trip. He spends money. He spends his own money for his own lodging. His guys always back him up. They go with him most of the time, and they help as well. So I appreciate Randy and his company developing me as an individual. Randy also helped me out before I went to SWAT school, showing me some techniques that, quite honestly, he helped me pass the firearms qualification when it came to SWAT school. So I really appreciate him. And I will say that a lot of the techniques that he instilled into me, a lot of the techniques that he showed, they're the same techniques that were shown at Alert. I'm actually shocked that Randy doesn't go over there and teach, but that's a topic of another story. I don't know if he's watching this video. I don't know if he will, but again, that's another topic, another story. Guys, the training tempo it is super difficult. This is the most difficult course I've ever taken in the last 20-something years that is an instructor level course. And I would argue that maybe this is probably the most difficult course overall. I was super stressed out. I made some videos that I since deleted. And I honestly didn't think I was going to pass. But a lot of you guys gave me the thumbs up. A lot of you guys supported what I do, and I really appreciate that. You know, I did my prayers, which also helps, but I spend like 3 hours a day studying, and that's what helped me out. I don't know if it's a learning disability that I have, but for most people, they can be, a lot of times with these classes, somebody could just be shown a technique and they get it after practicing. But for me, it takes me like, I want to say like an extra 3 reps or so. So if somebody takes, if it takes somebody 60 minutes to understand something, it would take me like 90 minutes to understand something, maybe even 2 hours. And I don't have to constantly be practicing that technique. I do forget a lot, and this, I'm telling you, this was really challenging. I don't know what it is, guys. When it comes down to reading material, studying, and learning techniques, again, it takes me like twice the amount of time than most others. I'm the guy in class who always has his hand up because he didn't understand anything. But once I understand something, it's solid, and I keep going from there. So maybe you fall into the same predicament as me, probably not. But I did find this as a challenge. So what I found challenging was the scenario. So there's a scenario teach back that takes about 20 minutes. And at first, my scenario was basically a solo officer response active attack incident, which I thought was going to be pretty simple, right? So my instructor, who is a former Special Forces, I think Green Beret, Sergeant Major, that was Patrick. This guy was so tough, guys. He gave us like every day, like 5 minutes on breaks. There was a lunch period where we had 20 minutes. He's constantly, he's very, I want to say assertive, right? You know, you're at the 3rd minute or 4th minute on your break. And he's like, hurry up. Let's go, you guys. We're running out of time. You know, he's very, I want to say military, right? He gave me I earned a 65%, and he gave me like a look like, dude, you're going to fail tomorrow. So later on that day, I found out that the scenario that I'm going to get is a totally different scenario. So I practiced for 3 hours on this solo officer response, and then all of a sudden I get a brand new scenario, and I was hoping I don't get this crazy scenario. And I got it. It was basically, there was extremist organization, active attack. There was like two IEDs involved. One was detonated inside of a classroom. There was like 6 people that were hit. Everybody required a medical evacuation, and everybody required at least 1 tourniquet, some people 2 tourniquets. And I think the team that I had to supervise was about 7 or 8 officers. So I have to evaluate all of them. Now, there was also a point where you have to understand all of the 32 learning objectives. And you can't use any type of card to help you. Like you cannot use your notes. So you have to hit all these learning objectives. And then in the middle of all this, there was like 1 or 2 active shooters. And you have to, when these guys are hauling ass running to the scene, in I want to say direct to threat scenario where they're like rushing towards a threat, you have to run with them the whole time. And there's simulations going off. I mean, it's unorganized chaos, and you have to create some organization out of it. So what you're doing is you're directing your students, hey, you go apply that tourniquet. You over there, go ahead and buddy evacuate this guy. Because when we're clearing the classroom, there's an IED in there which required a response of evacuating all of the victims in there. Patrick is really heavy on not popping your own tourniquet. What that refers to is you removing your tourniquet, or you removing the tourniquet that you applied. He highly recommends that a third party pops that tourniquet so you don't develop that muscle memory of popping tourniquets, taking them off. So there was like 6 guys that were yelling, tourniquet check, tourniquet check. So I'm checking all the tourniquets. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it was chaos, guys. There was 2 guys that were medically evacuating 1 guy to our extraction point. And they were simulating like they were going to walk out the door. And then all of a sudden I said, no, stop right there. So the scenario ended, and I got dinged for almost having those guys walk out. Because if they walk out with simunitions, it's a huge problem because, you know, there could be people passing by. If you get hit with the simunition, it's not the best thing. If you hit with the eye, it's not a good thing. I got hit right here in the trigger finger, and it bled. It kept bleeding for like an hour. These things are no joke, these simunitions. So I got dinged for that. I almost didn't pass, but I did end up passing with like an 80%, which is, it's minimal passing. So that was stressful. And then at the end, I thought I was done. And then later on, I found on Friday, I have a 20-minute teach back, which involved 1-man and 2-man entries. So I was stressed out every single day, man. I couldn't even make videos. And if I made video, it'd be very short. This this is a good place to train. We were provided with this manual. Alert, train the trainer, active shooter response. It teaches you all the techniques that they taught. There's like 300 pages in there. And then you're constantly walking around with these scenario cards and then these other cards that can help refresh your memory, except when it comes down to testing, you're going to be dinged on this. On my teach back scenario, I'm sorry, on my, the Friday teach back, remember you got 2 teach backs and they're like 20 minutes each. The first one is high stress. And the second one is more moderate stress. Something else that I liked is they provide these 2 books. I was going to buy this book on Amazon. I already had it in the shopping cart, and then on the last day they provided this for free. So what this involves is basically the research that backs up the technique. So when you have a 1-man and 2-man entry into a room, the number 1 guy will go to the area of the known, and the number 2 guy will go to the area of the unknown. And basically what you have is, if there's somebody hiding in the unknown area, that person's muzzle orientation or their attention is directed towards a number 1 guy that went to the known area. Number 2 guy, if he doesn't do his job correctly, is going to end up causing somebody to lose their life, because that number 2 guy is responsible for the unknown area. And then with that, guys, there's empirical studies, and then there's some research. Again, these guys have PhDs. I mean, nothing. Just because someone has a PhD, that doesn't make them a tactician, but these guys have these guys are former SWAT operators with PhDs. All that means is that they're able to validate a lot of these techniques. So in this chapter, 4.5.4, it says, does the second officer entering the room during the unknown entry get hit by rounds intended for the first officer? They direct you to another study, and that validates the techniques that they're showing. So I really love this education component to this course. It's one of the reasons why Alert keeps getting federal funding. I think that's pretty neat. I got this challenge coin. Pretty neat. Check it out. And then here it says Alert Certified Instructor. So what this basically means is I can order to rent like 15 simunition pistols, like 3 boxes of simunition rounds, masks, your PPE gear, a projector if I needed that. There's all kinds of resources that are available, and Alert has like 250 kits. So this is just so neat. So what I'm qualified to teach is a 2-day course. Even though I went through 5 days, I could teach the 2-day Alert Level 1 course. I could teach that with full backing from Texas State University, which is so awesome, and then from Alert. There's a lot of instructor resources that are available. Now, for those of you who are thinking about doing this as a business, I can't charge. If I teach an Alert course, I can't charge anything. So for me, what I'm planning on doing is, because I work for a law enforcement agency, maybe I will teach MACTAC and MACTAC. It's basically the same thing. But extend it to 2 days. That way that people can get post credit. But I cannot charge. If I charge, I cannot use the PowerPoints. I can't use any of the Alert resources, if that makes sense. In a way it does, because I got the training for free. Now, can I team up with Randy from Global Veterans and help him teach some of these techniques that he's teaching? And I would say absolutely yes. A lot of techniques that he showed me, I did during these courses. Now, can I form my own course and call it Sean's active shooter course, a 2-day course, a 1-day course? Yes, but I can't use Alert resources. So if you're thinking about doing this because you want to have a business, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't use any of the Alert resources, okay? And there's so many resources, guys. There's the PowerPoints, there's the manuals, you could contact any of your instructors, ask them for advice, tips. The resources are so great. You can even have instructors fly from Texas State to your organization and teach these classes. Now, that's more geared to the law enforcement side. If you're private security, I think this training would benefit your in-house private security officer, because once again, you can't profit off of this. Okay. But I will tell you that it makes me feel a lot more confident being a CQB instructor. I mean, this is like the school of CQB. A lot of the techniques, some people won't agree with, but they make it so that it makes sense, and they have the empirical research to back up what they're saying. These are not SWAT techniques that you're being shown, but it will help develop me as a SWAT officer. It will help develop me as a trainer in CQB techniques, but these techniques are designed to deploy an ad hoc team. And what I think on the private security side, what should be done is, I think law enforcement agencies should be training with like hospital security, or even like mall security who are armed, right? Or any security organization that has that involves a high degree of commerce. Again, your shopping centers, maybe there's like a huge warehouse where there's like 5,000 employees in there, and then there's a security department. I think that law enforcement should train, and they should train to link up with the secondary responders. And when the doo-doo hits the fan, you are the primary responder, your initial responder at that point in time. So that's all I got, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.